All right, so even with that little tiny bit of freeform modeling that I've shown you, you can do absolutely fantastic stuff in Fusion 360. And so what I want to do now is show you how to create an object based on a picture. All right. So, for example, some of you might have seen Mike Snyder moving around with a 3D scanner, and you might have thought, hey, it would be really cool if I could somehow create an object and yet not have to go through all that scanning process and everything. Well, this actually could maybe help out a bit. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I'm going to give you some ideas as to how you might be able to take some pictures of an object and then do free-form modeling to kind of create what your object is going to look like. And I suspect that you are going to think that this is the absolute coolest by the time you're done. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center my canvas, something like this, and I am going to go into Insert, and I want to put in Insert Attached Canvas. So now, oops, I got to do one other thing. I want to select it in this face, and I'm going to go to Select Image now, and I want to go to Knife Handle. Okay, like so. And I'm going to rotate it by 60 degrees, so I'm working in the plane that I've got. And I want to scale this up. Now, I have to admit that this is a little hard to picture potentially, but I want this knife handle to work out, so I'm scaling it so that the handle is just 14 centimeters in total. So it's going to be from roughly from this line to this line. Of course, not knowing the type of handle and how big your hand is and stuff, you would need to scale the diagram until it's the size that you need it. But just for argument's sake, we're going to make this about 14 centimeters. Okay, so that's a pretty good looking knife handle, so that's that. If I can, I want to make this object opaque, so I want this to be, oh, I don't know, let's try 75. Opacity, by the way, in case you're curious about this, it means that if I have it at 100%, you can't see through it. If I have it at 0, you can't see anything. And so, 40 or 30 or 40 looks a little ghostly kind of thing. And here, if we make it 75, it'll be mostly there, but kind of see-through enough that we can do some work with it. All right, and I'm going to click Display Through, which is a useful little tool that we're going to have for when we do our freeform modeling. And I'm going to press OK. Now, I'm going to actually create this object. All right. And as I say, this is the absolute coolest thing you can do with this. I've learned how to do this, and I really, really, really want to show you now. This is so cool. Now, I am on Create, and that takes me, or Create Form, and that takes me into the Model menu. Okay, so I just clicked right here. Okay, and that takes me into Sculpt. And I've gotten this warning that says you're into the sculpting environment now. And I want to make a box, and I want to make it in the same plane as I have here. And if you notice, my knife is roughly 1, 2, 3, 4.5, maybe 5 of these boxes high, and it's going to be 14 boxes across because we made it from this line to this line, and that's sort of the size here. So I'm going to put my center point right about here, and I'm going to drag this out until it's approximately the size of my knife blade here. So you see the box is about 5 high and slightly and 15 squares long. So that's actually pretty close. That's good. That's what I want it as. So I'm going to click. That's going to give me my box. And let's see. It's about the right size. I'm not going to worry so much about the faces here, but what I think you should do is, if your default is any less than this, I want your length faces to be 6, your width faces to be 3, and your height faces to be 2. All right? And then the next thing I want you to do is, if it's not clicked already, I want you to click Height Symmetry. And all that means is that if you do something to this side, it automatically happens to this side. All right? And so the height symmetry is going to be the best here. All right? And as long as you have everything here set up approximately the way we have, then you press OK. And now we're going to turn this into our knife handle. Now, one other thing I'm just going to mention is that if you find that the knife material, all right, is too close to the color of the diagram here, then I would suggest that you go up into Fusion 360 and Preferences and go into Material and then just select a different material. So, you could select any of these things, all right? I'm not really a good judge of color because unfortunately I don't see color very well. So to me, this and this are okay to work with. If you find that you find it difficult, change it to whatever you want, and hopefully it'll be easier to work with. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to press M for move, and we're going to click on our form now, and we're going to put it right here and right here. So we're just going to kind of center the form on top, like so. And you'll notice here that it's kind of cool. We can still see our diagram through. That's good. We're going to press OK. And now what we're going to do is go into Modify and Edit Form. And we're going to use all of that edit form stuff that we did in the other two videos to sort of create the shape of the knife blade. All right. Now, you can't really get this wrong with one exception. And I just want to show you how not to do stuff on here. And it'll be a little tricky the first time you do it, okay? But the one thing you don't want to do is distort these faces so much that you cause the lines to cross, okay? So, for example, I don't know if you remember Ghostbusters, the movie or not, but you never wanted the beams of the proton packs to cross or bad stuff happened. It's kind of the same thing here. So I'm just going to show you what happens. So if I distort this face like this, and then let's say I click on this face, there we go, we'll go back to Modify and Edit Form, and I click on this face, and I start to rotate it in the opposite direction, like that. All right, and let's just click on another face. Automatically, I don't know if you can tell or not, but these faces now cross each other. All right, and there's a problem with that because as soon as I want to turn my form into a 3D model that I can manipulate by going to Finish Form, we get this error that says T-spline model failed to convert, and we want to return back. And the reason why is that these faces are crossing these faces. Okay, so this is the only thing that you can get wrong basically when you're doing something like this. And with just a little bit of careful practice with the modeling, you're not going to find that this is even an issue, okay? So, because this is a really gentle and straightforward process. So to go back, I'm just going to press Command Z like that until I get back to my form. And we're going to go back to Modify and Edit Form and do it the right way. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to take my vertices, or sorry, I guess, yeah, my vertices here, and I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to pull these ones back. All right, this is a vertex here, okay, and I want these outside edge ones to match the edge of the knife. But to do that, I'm going to pull out these ones here that are not the edge of the knife, but sort of internal ones, and I'm just going to pull them in. All right, just going to go like that. Now you notice that these ones here don't match up with the edge of the knife or anything. Don't worry about it. It's gonna go well. Now this you can see here. I'm going to take this one and pull it in, which gives me room to pull in this one, which gives me room to pull in this one. Okay, you can sort of see what I'm doing here a little bit. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to do the same thing with this. And this, and then this final one here. All right, and you're going to notice that my points fit, but you're going to notice that the space in between doesn't fit particularly well. Once again, let's not worry about that. And in fact, I would encourage you to just kind of play around with this. Okay, the reason why I'm moving the inside stuff further inside is because we want to make sure that we don't allow the lines to cross here. Okay. Now, let's say I wanted to fix this. Let's move this up a bit, like so, and you automatically see that our knife is starting to take shape a little bit here. Okay. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull that in and take this point and we're going to sort of pull it, I don't know, up a little bit like this. I'm going to take all of these points and just sort of move them until they get close enough to our knife edge. Okay, just like this. Nothing fancy. Now this is looking a little extreme here, so we might need to pay some attention here. And we want to be very careful that we don't get our points to cross. Okay, but you can see, like, this whole freeform modeling and stuff, although this is heavily mathematically based, all right, and very computationally intensive, you'll notice that using it, on the other hand, is really not that complicated. That's pretty cool. So anyways, as I move this stuff up, okay, you'll start to notice that I'm pulling my model in. All right, and again, this first pass around doesn't have to be very exact or anything. Okay, it's just to get this to work properly, we need to be able to pull it in a little bit like this. That way my points don't all kind of pop up against me here. So there's something going on here, so I'm just going to pause the video quickly and we'll have this continue in a second video.